You called, I answered. A lot of people have been saying I should do a video on how to practice in Ontario, and that's what I'm going to be doing in this video today. Once again, welcome back to my channel. Please, if this is your first time of stepping on my channel, click the subscribe button and on your notification button so that whenever I make an upload, you will easily get it and see what is happening and what is changing. Having said that, I don't want to waste your time. We're going to dive straight into how you can practice medicine in Ontario as an international medical graduate. And there are many steps that are involved in it. But to avoid information overload, I'm going to take it little by little. We're going to go from step 1 down to step 6. Step 1, identify your category, meaning that you're going to find out where you fall in as an individual, as a medical graduate, depending on the country where you studied, where you are practicing, and what you have done so far. So you need to identify that so that you will know the exams that you should be writing, because you can't just register for exam and be writing when you don't even know if your category falls into that. One, there is this category of medical graduates without acceptable postgraduate training. That means you just finished medical school, you've done your internship, probably you've done your NYC for those in Nigeria, but for those in other countries, you just finished your internship and basically you've not finished anything after your internship. It means you are not with any postgraduate training. There is a pathway that you're qualified for, which is what? The CaRMS route, which is the residency route. In this video, I'm going to give a full download of what steps you need to take for you to come in to do residency in Canada as an international medical graduate. That is what this video will be talking about. Then we'll also go into the internationally trained family physicians or general practitioners or medical officers for those in Nigeria, because they don't know that when we talk about general practitioners in Nigeria, we call it medical officers. I don't know what other countries call it because I am Nigerian before I came to Canada. So I'm basically more conversant with what is applicable in Nigeria. Then we have the internationally trained specialists. These are the people we call consultants, or the ones that have finished their part 1 and now they're doing their part 2. So these are the specialists that are training as an outside of Canada in African countries, but make sure that your university or the institution where you're training is in the world record of what? Medical schools. Then we have this category, which I don't think anybody in US may be wanting to come to Canada. I am not sure, but there are physicians trained and licensed in the US. There is a pathway for them to practice in Canada. Then there are physicians already independently licensed elsewhere in Canada that want to practice in Ontario. They also have their own pathway. Remember, we are dealing with Ontario. Then there are also physicians recruited into academic positions in Ontario. So whichever category you fall from 1 to 6 now, know that the decision of the exam you're going to take will be dependent on whichever category that you fall in. So this now should be able to help you know which category do you belong to. And that takes me to what we have today. I'm going to be describing how you can come in with CaRMS and do your residency. So pathway 1 is the residency through CaRMS. Don't forget, I will still talk about the PRA for those that are doing a medical officer, general practitioner, but I will do that in a subsequent video. Then I will also talk about the specialist pathway, but you need to go through this video from beginning to end so that when I'm talking about your own pathway, you take the information you've gotten from here into that to know what you need to do, because it's step by step. So pathway 1 is the residency through CaRMS for Ontario. This is the main route for international medical graduates. Where you see IMGs, just know it's international medical graduates who have not completed postgraduate training acceptable for another licensing pathway. The step 2 is what? Confirm that your medical school is acceptable. Your medical school must be listed in the World Directory of Medical Schools with the appropriate Canadian recognition information where applicable. Step 3 is you need to go to Physicians Apply account. I did a video on the steps that you need to follow to create this account. Then through physiciansapply.ca, applicants, which is you, can submit your medical credentials for source verification. How do you do this? When you submit your credentials, they are going to contact the school where you graduated from to ask the school, did this person really graduate from here? Then the school will need to give them feedback. So if you want to start, you need to start early, because this back and forth have to happen between you and your school. When I did mine, when they got across to my school was not first responding. They got across to me and was like, your school is not responding. I had to reach out to my school and was like, okay, this letter was sent, so they had to look for it, and they responded to them, and I got an email too that my school have responded. You see the back and forth. So you need to start early. Then when you do that, you can now apply for MCC examination, which is the MCCQE 1, NACOS key, but you have to have done source verification. That's the first step first. If you've not done it, start now. And I've provided you with the website where you can go and open. See, this is the website. You can go there, open a profile, submit all your credentials, your house job, everything you want to be verified. You submit it, but make sure that you have found out the pathway you're qualified for before you start submission. Because whether you're doing PRA, whether you're doing a specialist pathway, whether you're doing the CaRMS, that's the residency pathway, you must still do source verification through Physicians Apply. So then when all these things are done, you will store all those results, all those verified documents. You will store them in Physicians Apply. Through Physicians Apply, you can be sharing your documents to different provinces, to CaRMS. You can decide whatever you want to do, or whichever organization you want to share your documents to. You can share it through Physicians Apply. It makes life easy. Remember, just like I said before, source verification can take several months, several weeks to months, because the issuing medical school must confirm the document. So MCC advises that you begin what early, just like I said previously. Then documents commonly required include your final medical degree. These are the documents you can submit for source verification. Your final medical degree, I also submitted all those forms that we signed during what are they calling it, during internship. You can submit your medical school transcript, internship and postgraduate training documents where applicable, then identification documents. Some countries, this way applicable is that some countries don't do the way Nigerians do, that you need to sign some things. There is something they give them. I know I've had someone that asked me a question based on where she trained. I think she trained in Mali or so. So it's not the same thing for everybody. That's why you see me use where applicable, because I don't have only one country following me. I have Indians, I have different countries. So you choose the one that is applicable to your own country. Then your identification documents could be driver's license, it could be international passport, or whatever document. If you're in Canada, you can use your permanent residency card. Important distinction. What people should know is this: physiciansapply.ca is required for your MCC, your CaRMS, and PRO. Where you see PRO is Practice Ready Ontario. Is required for these processes. But the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Ontario, which is the CPSO, says applicants must submit their registration application directly through the CPSO portal, where CPSO assesses credentials itself. So it means that even after curating your Physicians Apply and everything, that you will still submit. This is for Ontario. You ask for Ontario, I'm giving you the steps for Ontario. So you will still go to the CPSO website and do what? Submit your applications. Then step 4, complete the required examination. For you to go into residency in Ontario, for Ontario IMG residency positions, applicants generally need 1, Medical Council of Canada qualifying exam part 1, which is what MCCQE 1. Then the NACOS key, which is the what? National Assessment Collaboration Exam. Then each residency program again can add additional requirements, selection scores, or document deadlines. So you must check both the Ontario provincial criteria and every program description criteria. You see it now, so that I'm telling you all this so that you know you have a lot to do, so that you can start on time. you don't get choked. And I'm trying to break it down because I know doctors are very busy and I want you to understand it. That's why I'm taking it step by step. Step 5, you meet the immigration and language requirement. This is another part that a lot of people ask questioning, but you must meet this requirement. And is what CaRMS generally requires Canadian citizenship or permanent resident status for you to do what? All those they will say, okay, R01 match, I matched, I didn't match. You must have your Canadian residency. You must also have either have a Canadian residency or you have a permanent resident. That's citizenship or permanent resident. And though applicants must read the applicable cycles criteria carefully. So whatever it is that year, you need to be what? Abreast with it. This is me bringing you the current one for 2026. 2027 things may change, 2028 things may change. So it depends on where you are on your journey. So where formal English language evidence is required, College of Physicians and Surgeons of Ontario currently accept this. IELTS academics at least 7.0 in each component, so 7 across board. Then OET medicine at least B in each subset in one sitting. Remember, all these are in one sitting. Then CELPIP general at least 9 in each scale in one sitting. So whichever one you think is easy for you. Some people take IELTS easy, some OET, some CELPIP. Anyone you think is easy for you, please go for it. The examination normally, that's this language examination, must have been completed within the preceding 24 months. So after 2 years it expires. I think all of us know that. So exemption may apply based on medical education or practice in an approved English speaking jurisdiction. So if you think you are convinced that okay, that you can get exemption for your English language what are they calling English language requirements, you can write them and request for exemption. I know a friend of mine that had been practicing in Nigeria, but she schooled in the Caribbean, so they gave her exemption. So it depends on your what how that is judged based on individuals. So based on what it is what you will get. Whether you can get waiver, I don't know. Whether you will not get waiver, I don't know. But there are options for waivers. Step 6, apply through CaRMS. Applicants will submit the following: your personal information, examination results, medical degree, and transcripts. That it means these ones have already been source verified. Medical student performance record, if applicable, personal letters, reference letters, citizenship or PR documents, program specific documents, which is what I explained to you. Some programs may require for something different, so you need to submit whatever is required. That's why you need to find out per year what your department or your discipline or your program requires. Then there is an important restriction, 2026 restriction for Ontario. Ontario published criteria as in that state that physicians already in practice are not eligible for R1 match in Ontario. Let's take it that somebody came in through PRA, you're already practicing. Probably you're practicing as a family physician and you want to go in to do residency in radiology. Ontario gave a rule that you cannot do that. So another thing is candidates with previous Canadian or US postgraduate training that could not count towards the College of Family Physicians of Canada or Royal College certification are ineligible for what? First iteration, that's first merge. There is what they call the first merge, the second merge. Then because the 2027 Ontario criteria are not yet finalized, please recheck this before next application. If you're applying for next year, I'm giving you what is currently obtainable. I hope this is helping somebody find their way. Step 7, you complete the IMG return of service agreement. This is where some people may not like, but this is the truth. IMG residency position in Ontario normally carry a return of service commitment. This is because some people, when they finish residency, they don't want to stay in Ontario. Probably they think, okay, we need to move to another province, probably to be close to family, or they want higher pay, or they got a higher offer and they want to leave Ontario. Ontario's residency comes with what? Return of service commitment. So it means after residency, the physician must practice in an eligible Ontario community for the specific period you signed. Some may sign 3 years, I don't know. Some may sign more. Whatever you signed as your return of service agreement, you have to keep to it. Once you finish residency, you're going to be practicing in Ontario for that number of years that you signed. So this is legally binding. I don't think you want to joke with it. It is legally binding. It's a commitment between the physician and the Ontario Ministry of Health. And most times I will advise you, in fact, I am advising you, keep to what? To the agreement, because agreement is agreement. Step 8, complete the pre-residency program. So the thing is this, as an IMG, when you match to Ontario, their residency program, there is what they do, the pre-residency program. That's introduction, somehow getting you familiar with what you are up against and all that, or the pre-residency program for family medicine. These programs are delivered through Touchstone Institute and may begin several weeks before the residency itself. So this is not what I can tell you. This is when it will begin, because I am not part of the people that are organizing it. But if you match, what they will do is what? They will send you message and give you update per time of what is expected of you and when you are supposed to start this program. So if you have gotten to this stage, I will tell you congratulations, because you're almost close to the finish line. Step 9, obtain a postgraduate certificate from College of Physicians and Surgeons of Ontario. So after matching, apply to the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Ontario for postgraduate education certificate. The university normally provides application instructions. So applicants must submit the CPSO application, documentation, and fees before starting residency. So all this information are going to come to you per time based on the stage or the step where you are. Is not something you need to worry about, because they will keep you informed. Then IMG residents also undergo an assessment verification period of at least 12 weeks at the beginning of the training, because they really want to know, okay, this thing you say you know, do you really know it, or are you just claiming it? So this period of 12 weeks is kind of trying to bring you at par with what is obtainable here in Canada. And I'm sure you're going to be enjoying your experience. I know that to an extent you should be able to enjoy your experience if you really went through medical school. Then step 10, finish residency and obtain certification. After completing residency, family physicians pursue certification through the College of Family Physicians of Canada. Specialists pursue certification through the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Canada. They must then meet the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Ontario requirements for the appropriate independent or provisional certificate. For you to become an independent practitioner, or you want to open your own, there are some requirements, but that one is too far. So still get into the residency first before you start thinking about all this ones. I hope this is what you intend to see. So I'm going to talk about the specialist and talk about the PRA. This is what for CaRMS, those that do not have any experience at all, that are in Nigeria. The only thing you should focus on now is what? Get your permanent residency, then every other thing can follow, because you can write MCCQE 1 back in your home country. I know in Nigeria it's written in Lagos. And if you have any question, don't hesitate to drop it in the comment. I will answer it. And remember, if you are not yet following me, or if you're not yet subscribed, sorry, not follow, if you're not yet subscribed, please, it's now time to subscribe and put on the notification button, so that once I post, you will get the information. Thank you for being around here. And it's just a way to encourage me by sharing this video to people that will really need it. Some of us have groups, so you can share it to the groups where you belong. I hope this helps someone. Make me feel good by making this video go viral. Enjoy your day.